Hey guys, so it's Bree again, back with you on Saturday. This is kind of an exciting week because it's our 4th week, so we've officially made it to the 1 month mark. So thanks to everyone who's watched, and thanks to everyone especially who's subscribed to our channel. It really means a lot. We love seeing when people subscribe because it kind of means that we're getting our word out and people watch us, and hopefully we're helping, and hopefully people get to see what we have to say, and I think that's awesome. So thanks again. So along with the topic for today, I also wanted to kind of give y'all a update on where my fiance is on his transition, just so y'all kind of know like where we are and where I'm coming from in like my relationship with a trans guy. So a couple days ago marks his 2 months of being on testosterone, which is super exciting for him. I'm super excited for him. It's really great. Because that just means we're 2 months closer to being where he wants to be, which is awesome. So changes that we've seen being on testosterone for 2 months. Not too many, which is kind of disappointing, and I know he's really upset about that. He wants, of course, everything to change like super quickly, and I keep reminding him to be patient, but of course any trans guy who just starts testosterone wants it to be like all the changes in like 1 month, which unfortunately just doesn't happen. But we have seen some changes, a lot of like hair growth. He got his first chin hair the other day, which he was really excited about, and he's like, "Babe, come look at this," and so I was really excited for him, and he's probably gonna be really mad at me for talking about that, but oh well. But other than that, not too many changes. But I think he said that within a couple months that he's going to start seeing some changes. Apparently some people have like noticed his voice has gotten a little deeper. I have noticed it a little bit, like going back and watching old videos of him, like when he would like talk on videos, you can definitely tell a little bit of a difference, but not too much. I don't see too many differences, probably because I'm with him every day, so I don't see like a lot of things, but I know some other people who have seen some differences. But anyways, hopefully now it's just like all uphill from here. Like hopefully it's just gonna get better and better, which I'm sure it will. Positive thoughts, woohoo. So this week's topic for TransLove is about dysphoria, and I hate using the word like lucky, but I am kind of lucky in this area compared to other women on here. Or just other women in general, or other partners of FTMs or MTFs, because thankfully he hasn't experienced dysphoria as bad as other people have. Like other people that I've heard of because of videos on TransLove, or just talking to other partners of FTMs. And even he thought that was kind of weird. Like we both thought that it was just going to be really, really awful dysphoria. But thankfully it hasn't. Sorry again, my dogs are chewing their bones. I know I don't know if y'all will hear it, but it's kind of annoying to me in the background. So anyways, there are a couple things though that we have noticed with his dysphoria. I actually had to ask him. I was like, "Babe, this week's topic is about dysphoria. I don't know what to talk about." Like, that's how lucky I think we are. He still has it, so it's difficult. So I'm not saying that, oh, no big deal. Like, it's still very important, and I know it can be hard for him, but it's not as bad as some people have it. One of the biggest things, though, I think, is, of course, with his chest, dysphoria about his chest. Thankfully, though, I can say thankfully, he was definitely blessed and born with a really small chest to begin with, so that's really awesome, and he is super lucky for that. You can still like tell though that he has breasts, and so he got a binder, and the only really problem with the binder is sometimes you can see the binder, like the outline of the binder through the shirts that he wears, because sometimes he wears like smaller shirts or like tighter shirts. So I know he finds that a problem, like when he's getting dressed in the mornings, like sometimes he'll have to ask like, "Hey, can you see my binder?" And it's like, no. But like with his binder, personally, I don't see like a problem at all. Like he fits right in, it's perfect. So that is really good for him. I can only imagine what it's like to like be born with big breasts and then having to get a binder and it still not really working as well as it should. So that's really good for him. Of course, I think it will get better once he gets top surgery, which we don't really know when that's going to happen, especially if we're moving to like California or wherever, because we're trying to save up as much money as possible. And that's going to be kind of our next thing that we save up for, is top surgery for him, which can be kind of pricey. So we're going to see how that goes, but I do really want to get it for him because I know that'll just be like excellent, because even though he does have a small chest, like he knows that they're still there, and like he couldn't like take off his shirt in public, and he couldn't like go swimming with no top on or something like that. So that's definitely important for us to look into. Another thing that he did talk to me about when I asked him about like what to talk about this week was like dysphoria when he goes to the bathroom, because he does use the men's restroom when he is in public. And he says that sometimes that can bother him because he doesn't use an STP, because he kind of thinks it's gross, and I kind of think it's gross too. Like, I feel like it's really unsanitary. But, I mean, I don't know. Maybe people find it, or it's better for some people, but that's just how I personally am. And, you know, if he wants to use it, that's totally fine, but he doesn't have one right now, so of course he has to use the stall in the guy's bathroom, and sometimes there's only one stall, and sometimes there's already someone in there, so then he'll just have to walk out. And I think that kind of affects him a lot, because if he was born a male, he wouldn't have this problem, but he wasn't, and so he does, and that's kind of rough, and I can imagine that's really difficult. I know some of the other women on here have talked about like their sex lives and how it's affected that. Again, kind of thankfully, like we haven't really had that problem too much, at least. Like we haven't gotten to the point where like I'm not allowed to like touch his chest, or I can still pretty much do what I want. And I hate to say this, but I'm kind of waiting for the day that I can't do that anymore, because I know like people have talked about like going years and years and years and they've been fine, and then all of a sudden it just kind of like switches, and all of a sudden they're not okay with, you know, you touching their chest or you kind of doing what you want when it comes to sex, and that's really scary. Like, that's awful, and I don't really know how I'm going to be able to handle that. And I think I kind of expect the worst, which kind of makes it difficult, because I hear all these women or partners in general just be like, it's so awful, like it's so hard watching him go through this, and I haven't gotten there yet. I haven't seen that bad dysphoria. And so I'm just like preparing myself for it, which I think is bad too, because I'm expecting it to be worse, and maybe he never has it as bad as some people does. But we've talked about it, and even he said like he has a feeling it's gonna get worse sooner or later, especially if we do move to a different state and then he's still not passing. I think that's when it's gonna like really hit him. So I mean, I don't know. And you know, he's having some trouble like kind of figuring out if he even wants bottom surgery, and I keep telling him like, you need to do what you want to do. Like, you don't have to fall into the gender roles of society. Like, you don't have to have a penis to be a man. Like, you know, like that's what society sees it as, but you don't have to see it as that. And you know, I think you're a man, and actually it's really awesome, and I told him this, finally like my mindset has changed to where instead of thinking of, oh, it's my boyfriend who is transitioning from a woman, like it's just, he's my boyfriend. You know, no longer do I think about how he's a woman transitioning into a man, and I think that's really awesome for me, because it was hard for me at first, and now it's like no big deal. I'm like, okay, yeah, you're a man, like you do look like a man, you know, you act like a man, you're becoming a man, and that's great, and you don't have to have bottom surgery in order to be a man. And So he's kind of trying to figure out where he wants to be with that. But other than that, I think we're just kind of taking it one day at a time and trying to figure out where, like, when it comes to surgery wise, like, I think he knows for sure he wants top surgery, like, no questions asked, and I totally agree with that. I think that would be really good for him. But bottom surgery, even if he does want it, it's something that'll have to be like way down the road, just because it's so expensive and the technology isn't as good as we would like it to be, or as he would like it to be. And I do kind of worry about some things. Like, he's even said, I'm worried once I get top surgery you're not going to want me anymore, because, you know, like, I am bisexual, but of course I'm interested in women, like I've kind of talked about before. I did classify myself as a lesbian, and, you know, of course, being a lesbian, you want someone who has breasts, like, I hate to say it, but as he's gotten farther into this transition, it's been like, I don't care, you know, like, I love you, I love the person that you are, and it doesn't matter, you know, if you have breasts or not, you know. And I think at first, when he first came out as trans, that's what I was really worried about. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm not going to be attracted to him, like, I'm not going to, like, think he's a man. But now, like, it's gotten so much better, and I think that's really great. And I make sure to tell him all the time, like, you are so sexy, like, you're the sexiest man, like, I know, like, I tell that all the time, and I hope that helps with future dysphoria, but I'm not really sure. So I guess, like I said, just taking it one day at a time, and I feel like I've kind of repeated myself a lot, but that's my topic for this week, and I'm glad that I got to talk about his 2-month update, and I hope that I will talk about future updates in next videos. And I really hope that y'all come up with some ideas for topics. Starting in a couple weeks, we're going to need some topic ideas, so any questions that y'all have, feel free to comment on here, or comment on our Instagram page, or apparently we're getting a Twitter page. I don't really use Twitter that much, but we'll see how that goes. So thanks for watching, and thanks for everything, and keep watching, and watch all the other videos too, because all the other women are awesome. And thanks so much for everything. Bye.